On Newswatch, severe weather moves across the region. We'll have the latest on its impacts on communities.
Plus, Highway Patrol is cracking down on distracted driving.
And the best ways to dispose of your electronic waste. Newswatch starts right now. You're taking a live look outside as severe weather continues to roll through southeastern Ohio.
That's right, though the heavy rain has stopped, there's still more severe weather on the way.
Good evening, I'm Silver Barker.
And I'm Haley Hollinger. We are now sending it out to lead forecaster Emily Dietz with the latest on these storms. Emily?
I'm at the Hocking River where we're seeing more clouds rolling and winds are starting to pick up, and we're also looking at Hocking River levels starting to rise. Even though they don't seem like they're rising that much, we've had a significant amount of rain come down that's risen this water 2 to 3 inches as well. A lot of this rain has led to flood warnings, flood advisories, even flash flood warnings issued all over the state of Ohio. Now, it only takes 6 inches of rapid moving water to sweep you off of your feet, so if you're under a flash flood warning or any flood warning at all, you want to make sure you get to high ground and stay out of any water that may have a downed telephone pole or any sort of electricity in it at all. We also want to make sure that you stay safe as we go into these next couple of days because we're expecting more rain to come in through the area. And we're also seeing a lot of animals start to shift as well. We're seeing the geese start to calm down a little bit too. So definitely be prepared. And with that, I'm going to send it into the studio for Rachel to talk to you about how you can prepare for this weather coming up.
Thanks for the great work, Emily. And we'll check back in later. Stay safe out there.
Well, forecaster Rachel Grant is now with us in studio for another look at the weather. Rachel, a question for you right now. What does the radar look like in terms of what we're looking at right now?
It does not look good for us, unfortunately, throughout the next 24 to 48 hours. We still might see some rain coming through. Even though it might be a little bit of a break right now, that unfortunately is coming to an end for tonight. For today, though, we saw a little bit of rain in the morning. It really came through. It stopped around noon, 1 p.m. maybe. That's when our break really came in. Might see some sunshine, some blue skies, but that's actually adding some instability in our atmosphere, and we might see some more impacts of the severe weather later on tonight. Here's a closer look at our radar right now. We're seeing all this rain passing through in the morning, and we're still seeing this rain right here coming in from the southwest right here. That's going to come up in our area and impact us throughout tonight and even into tomorrow morning. Right now we're seeing 69 degrees outside. We're seeing lots of rain though, and that is going to continue into tonight though. We're going to see a low of 43 with those severe thunderstorms continuing throughout tonight. Now with these thunderstorms though, we are going to see lots of us being under some warnings and some watches. Most of us living in the east right now really affected by these major flood warnings, some flood watches, and even some flash flood watches for that matter as well. Well, those of us in the west right now living around Cincinnati or Dayton, most of them are under some tornado warnings right now. Might even see some hail for that matter as well. So if you are living in any of these areas affected by the flood warnings, the flood watches, and even some flash flood watches, please stay safe. Please try and stay indoors while you can. Try not to go outside unless you really need to. If you do have to go outside, please stay safe. Please stay weather aware, and please make sure all emergency notifications are enabled on any and all devices. And with that, we're also going to look at the severe weather risk for our area. Most of us are under the red and the orange right now, maybe even some yellow, but most of us are under the slight and enhanced areas. That is going to continue tonight into tomorrow, as we're going to see some rains continuing throughout tomorrow with the high of 55 and a low of 35. We're going to see we're going to see the path of this rain coming through our area in my full weather forecast, so stay tuned to see that later on in Newswatch. For right now, we're going back to Silver and Haley.
Thanks, Rachel. As these storms roll through, AEP Ohio is reporting over 11,000 customers do not have power. The company says they are evaluating the situation.
That's right, Silver, and a large majority of those outages are actually located in Lawrence County. Now you're going to see on your screen the damage that's already left behind by this first band of storms. A spokesperson for AEP Ohio says crews are seeing a number of down poles and trees. He says there's no clear indication when power will be restored and suggests people stay connected on AEP Ohio's social media and website, and adds if you see downed lines, stay as far away as possible. The National Weather Service is saying they have not seen any possible tornadoes in Ohio.
Yeah, Haley, but local agencies are still telling people to prepare for the worst.
They can make sure they have to-go bags, flashlights, they can have blankets, fuel for their generators, making sure that they're testing their generators, that they're working, keeping in contact with loved ones.
Embler says it's also important to have your mobile device charged and available in case an alert is issued. The county EMA will release an alert to your device if a weather emergency is active. Well, coming up, Athens County residents are speaking out in support of a local nonprofit.
And the Baltimore Bridge collapse is creating waves in Washington.
We're seeing lots of rain coming through our area throughout tonight and tomorrow, but is that going to continue throughout the week? Stay tuned to see my weather forecast when Newswatch returns.
Whoa, whoa.
On Finding Your Roots, Michael Douglas
Never heard of it. It was a closed world.
and Lena Dunham.
My 8th great-grandfather was the mayor?
An ancestor eludes the law,
Your great-uncle Michael was a wanted man.
Do we know what he is wanted for?
and a heartwarming discovery.
Do a lot of people cry when this happens?
Every once in a while.
Okay.
Finding Your Roots.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
Some say William F. Buckley created the modern conservative movement.
America had better strike out on a different course.
The most visible face of the conservative movement.
He became a huge best-selling author and host of his own TV show,
Foreign line.
sometimes insufferable, always incomparable.
Thank you, the Overseas Press Club. I sometimes wish all the press were overseas.
Don't miss the incomparable Mr. Buckley.
A number of Athens residents are calling on the city to join a council of governments as Save Athens Hocking recycling centers. AHRC lost about 40% of their total income after the city switched to Cincinnati-based Rumpke Waste and Recycling back in November. Now residents are calling on the city to join a COG that would absorb AHRC and keep service local. The issue is expected to be taken up by the Committee of the Whole at next week's council meeting.
This week, the Ohio State Highway Patrol is stepping up to distracted drivers. April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and for the first week of the month, they'll be cracking down even more on the new distracted driving laws that went into effect in October. The initiative began yesterday and will continue until next Monday at 10:59 p.m. In 2023, there were only 29 fatal crashes due to distracted driving, the lowest in the past 5 years. If you want to get free Eclipse glasses, you're going to have to wait until Monday. While Ohio libraries are offering safety glasses for free, the Athens Public Libraries will only be offering the glasses on the afternoon of Monday, April 8th. They have a limited number of glasses and it will be first come, first serve.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Even though it might have been more along the rainier side, we saw some rain coming through our area throughout the morning, really. Might catch a little bit of a break in the afternoon. We're still going to see some rain later on tonight and even into tomorrow. But with this rain, it is going to bring lots of warnings and lots of watches throughout our areas. Now, most of us here, most of us in the west right now are under some tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. So might see lots of rain in those areas along with those hail. While those of us along the east right here, most of us are under these flash flood watches, these flood warnings, and even some just regular flood watches in general. So as most of us are living under these counties affected by these watches and warnings, please make sure to stay indoors while you can. Try not to go outside unless you absolutely have to. If you do go outside, please stay safe, please stay weather aware, and please make sure all notifications are enabled on any and all devices. We're also going to look at the severe weather risk map for our area right now. Most of us are under this orange and red, maybe even some yellow a little bit. So most of us right here in the orange are under the enhanced severe weather risk, while the red is the moderate severe weather risk, and even the yellow is a slight. So most of us are really going to see the impacts of the weather throughout the next 24 to 48 hours. But along with today, we're going to see 100% chance of severe thunderstorms throughout the day with the high of 70, and that's going to continue even into tonight with that low of 43. and severe thunderstorms continuing into tomorrow as well, with the high of 55 and a low of 35 right now. We're also going to toss it right back to Emily, seeing what's happening out there and if we're still under that break from the storms or we're still seeing some sprinkles throughout our area.
We are still out here by the Hocking River, and we are starting to get a sprinkle or two. So I enjoyed a little bit of sunshine that we got this afternoon, had a little bit of rain and then some sunshine again. But if you can tell behind me, we're starting to get some clouds moving in a little bit more swiftly. We felt more wind start to pick up as the system really starts to move in. And taking a look at that radar, once again, you saw that cells start to develop and really start to push in. So again, with that storm safety, you want to make sure your device is charged. You want to make sure that you have a safe location to go to in the event that a tornado, a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning is issued for your area. If you have a tornado warning issued for your area, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside world as you can, and if you have a basement, go into that. If not, stay away from as many windows as possible. Make sure to stay weather aware tonight and have a way to stay up to date on any news alerts or any sort of weather alerts that may be issued for you, especially as we go into these late evening hours. Make sure you keep your sound on your phone, again, for those alerts, so you can get up and get you and your family and anyone else you need to safety. And with that, I'm going to send it back to Rachel to take a look at what's coming up later this week.
Thanks, Emily. We're now tracking this path of when the rain is coming through our area. We saw most of it come through again throughout the morning, but right now we're still in that break. Might see a little bit of a sprinkle here or there, but here's our area right now starting at 5 o'clock today and continuing until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to see lots of this rain right here coming through around maybe 9, 10 p.m. tonight and continuing right until around midnight here. And that's really going to continue throughout tomorrow. That's where we're going to have a little bit of a break again. It's going to pick up tomorrow around 7 to 8 a.m. As for tomorrow, though, here's a closer look at it. We're seeing this low pressure system right here sitting north of us right now, bringing lots of snow with it as well, but that's not really going to impact us for tomorrow. We're going to see a little bit of a break in the morning right here, just a little bit, with this occluded front also moving north of us right now. We're going to see most of this rain come through tomorrow night. We're going to see lots of rain come through. This low pressure system is going to shift just south just a little bit, and that's might even bring us some snow for tomorrow. We're going to see, for Thursday, we're going to see some snow come through along with this occluded front. That's also going to move north of us just a little bit, and the low pressure system is going to move west. That's might bring us some mixed precipitation and even some flurries throughout Thursday. Here's our 3-day recap for us. We're going to see a high 55 tomorrow with 70% chance of showers. That is going to continue throughout Thursday with the high of 48, as well as for Friday, just with a smaller chance of showers to start our weekend. As for Saturday and Sunday, the rain's going to go away. We're going to see a high of 52 with mostly cloudy skies, and we might even see some sunshine for Sunday with the high of 61. And we might see some rain for Monday as well with the high of 65. And the rain is going to stop for Tuesday, though. Just might see a little bit of a drop, that high of 60, though. But we're overall going to see a little shift throughout from Wednesday and Tuesday and how warm and how cold it is. I hope you all have a wonderful week. We're now going back to Haley.
The deadly collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore is having a ripple effect in Washington. Rebuilding the port to be back open will require an enormous effort and additional federal funding, but some of the members of Congress are already pushing back against paying for the long road to recovery. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook takes a closer look at the funding fight.
Crews at the site of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore are making progress as they work to remove a portion of the wreckage. A massive cargo vessel slammed into the bridge last Tuesday, killing 6 construction workers. President Joe Biden pledged the full support of the federal government in the response and recovery efforts shortly after the collapse.
This administration will be with the people of Baltimore every step of the way. We are with you, Baltimore, and we will be there until we get this done.
The U.S. Department of Transportation released $60 million to Maryland from an emergency relief fund last week, but the recovery will cost much more. The White House may need Congress to act, and some Republicans are already voicing their concerns.
You know, the first reaction, in fact, the only reaction, just tends to be to spend.
I still have Florida farmers from a hurricane a year and a half ago that still aren't getting relief. So the federal government is a partner. The federal government needs to be a partner, but we need to stop playing politics, and that's exactly what the Biden administration has done.
Democratic lawmakers from Maryland are responding to the criticism.
If you go back to the time of the Minneapolis bridge collapse, Congress, within a very short period of time, overwhelmingly said the federal government should help. And so we believe that we should come together again as Americans, put aside, party labels and get it done.
President Joe Biden is scheduled to visit Baltimore on Friday to survey damage from the bridge collapse. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Well, it's a good day for the safety of rail workers, rail passengers, and every person who drives over a crossing. That's what Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is saying about freight trains on the nation's rail network. Laura Aguirre has more on what the federal government is doing to better protect railroad employees in every community that a freight train passes through.
America's rails are safer today than they were yesterday.
Safer because a new rule requiring at least 2 workers on every train goes into effect Tuesday, a move applauded by DC's Firefighters Association.
When train lengths are approaching 3 miles, relying on just one single crew member is a recipe for disaster.
First responders often rely on rail crew workers to give them critical hazardous cargo or mechanical information when they arrive on scene.
These crew members are the first line of defense until we arrive.
Secretary Pete Buttigieg says last year alone, 7 rail workers were killed while on duty, and nearly 4 dozen suffered major injuries. In February of 2023, a derailed train carrying hazardous materials in East Palestine, Ohio, burned for days, leaving the surrounding communities mired in health, environmental, and political fallout to this day.
More than 1,500 derailments have occurred since the East Palestine incident.
For years, rail industry lobbyists have been successful in pushing back on the 2-worker rule at the state level.
The railroad lobby said the federal government should be the one to make the rule so that there's uniformity across state lines. So here we go.
Additionally, the DOT has conducted thousands of inspections on high-hazard rails and crossings, issued new safety policies related to tanker cars, and improved benefits for many union workers, like paid sick days.
And we are going to keep pressing Congress to pass the Railway Safety Act.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Coming up next, we'll tell you how to properly dispose of your old phones and tablets. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube.
The story of Caesar, most extraordinary political story in Western history.
Julius Caesar is the most dangerous kind of demagogue.
He's immoral, he's irreligious, he wants to rule Rome.
Step by step, Caesar is being corrupted by this power he's got.
Democracy has to be fought for. If we take it for granted, a new Caesar will come.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
Did you know that you can donate property to WOUB Public Media? I'm WOUB Community Engagement and Membership Manager Sherry Russo. Donating property is a great way to support WOUB, and you may even claim a significant tax deduction. Properties in any location, condition, and format are eligible for donation to WOUB. Back taxes, mortgage balances, and deferred maintenance do not prohibit your ability to donate. Our program covers all loans, liens, commissions, and closing costs, so long as there is equity in the property. If you have a land, residential, or commercial real estate asset that's unused or costing you money, consider giving back to the station you love by donating it to WOUB.
And the process is easy. Go to WOUB.org and click the Support tab to learn about property donations, along with many other ways to support WOUB.
I first noticed that I had a tremor in my leg, and that was the first sign there was danger on the horizon.
I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 39.
Parkinson's has multiple symptoms which are staggering in their breadth.
It's exhausting. Holding it together is more exhausting than the disease itself.
You never know what's going to happen if you don't give up. You might live.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
A recent UN analysis found the amount of electronic waste generated globally is growing 5 times faster than it can be recycled. This can lead to a host of environmental, health, and climate concerns.
Michael Yoshida digs into the issue and offers some helpful tips on how to dispose old tech.
From e-cigarettes to broken appliances and old cell phones, global electronic waste, or e-waste, has reached record highs, some 68.3 million tons in 2022 alone, according to a recent United Nations report.
That's equivalent to the weight of over 100,000 of the world's largest passenger aircrafts. If you put them together, that's enough to form an unbroken queue from New York to Athens, 5,000 miles.
As the world becomes more reliant on electronics, the recycling of gadgets and appliances is not keeping pace, something experts are hoping will change with more awareness.
Better managing e-waste means better health. Health for the planet, but also health for ourselves, because a lot of the components in e-waste can be very toxic to humans.
Along with environmental and health reasons to recycle, there's a big money incentive too. E-waste often contains rare earth metals.
If we had been able to reuse and collect all what is in e-waste, we could have generated over $91 billion in value.
Welcome back. We'll send it to forecaster Rachel Grant with one more look at weather.
Yeah, Rachel, what can we expect going into tonight's weather?
Yeah, tonight we can expect a little bit of rain coming through our area. That's going to come around 10 p.m. tonight, but most of us here are under these flood warnings and flood watches right now. Those are in effect until tomorrow morning. We're going to see some tornado warnings, some flood watches, and they are in effect till tomorrow morning. But here's a closer look as to when exactly the rain's going to come through. It's going to come through again tonight, starting at 9 p.m. and then continuing until around midnight, and that's when we're going to catch a break from it. And it will pick up again until around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. As for tonight, that we're going to see a low of 43 with severe thunderstorms continuing throughout tonight. And as for tomorrow, the rain is not going away. We're going to see 70% chance of showers tomorrow with that high of 55. And here's a closer look at our map. Right now, we're going to see this low pressure system shifting through our area along with the occluded front moving out. We're also going to see a little bit of break from the rain from tomorrow. We're going to see most of it coming through on tomorrow night and Thursday. And Thursday, we might even see some snow with that low pressure system moving more east towards us. As for our 7-day outlook, we're going to see lots of rain continuing throughout tomorrow and continuing until the weekend. And we might also see some sunshine coming through on Saturday with a little bit of a drop right here, seeing 55 for tomorrow, going to drop to 48 throughout Thursday and Friday, and pick up again on Saturday with a high of 52 and even going to 60s for Sunday, the high of 61. And we might even see some sunshine then before we see the rain again on Monday with a high of 66, yet still increasing again with lots of rain to be seen on Tuesday with that high of 72.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great day.